Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me here to talk to you about the virtually online high school. This proposed school is going to be just for our district. It'll be a supplementary program and it'll gradually be expanded from a 9 through 12 program, possibly through to a K through 12 program. And in this talk, I want to discuss to you some statistics in online learning. We want to talk about what it is, why it's important, what students do online, what does an ideal student look like, and what does an ideal teacher look like? And finally, how is online teaching different from face-to-face teaching? According to a study done in Michigan and released in 2016, in the 2013-2014 school year, there were 2.7 million students taking online courses. That was an increase of 80% from 2009 to 2010. There was a 25% increase in that same period of districts offering online learning. That went from 50% to 70%. In that same study, we know that over half of the virtual learners passed all of their virtual courses with a 70% or higher, and 20% of them passed with a 90 to 100%. About a quarter of virtual learners did not pass any of their virtual courses. About half of 11th grade virtual learners took the SAT and they were proficient in the reading and writing component, and then about a quarter of them were proficient in the science and math component. But we noticed that each demographic responded differently. There was a 17% increase in the pass rate for students in poverty, but students who were not in poverty had a 21% increase in pass from the 2009-2010 school year to the 2013-2014 school year. African Americans in that same time had a 51% pass rate, but Asians passed as high as 69%. But there was only a 3% difference in the gender pass rate, with females outperforming males by 3%. So all these numbers mean that online learning is becoming more widespread and it's improving as we go along. But why are these statistics important and why should we look at online learning? Well, our current mode of education is a one-size-fits-all approach. All students are in one room. They're required to do everything all the same way. Online learning is much more personalized, so you can do differentiation for students. It is so much easier for teachers to do that as well. What exactly does an online student do? Well, in this fully online program that we're proposing, everything is presented over the internet. Students still take tests, but they create projects as alternative assessments using different online programs. Students also participate in video meetings and discussion forums. They take video notes and they watch documentaries. They read and they do some online activities, and they also meet with their instructors. They do that via email, they chat, they can text, and they can even talk through video. Now, there are many reasons that students take online courses. According to the research performed in 2011, only 34% of school districts in the nation offered AP or IB courses. A majority of students take online courses to take those advanced student classes, that are not offered at their school. Students also want to take an enrichment course sometimes, and sometimes students want to take courses ahead of time so they can graduate early. But other students want to retake a failed class for credit. Homeschooled students want to get their diploma through a high school. There's incredible flexibility for students, so it's anytime, any place learning. So it sounds great for all students, but it's not. Pass rates indicate that online students need to be self-motivated. They need to be able to structure their own learning. They have to have previous experience with technology, and they really need to have a good attitude towards the content they're learning. Students also have to be willing to work really hard because online classes are not easier than face-to-face classes. You'll find that you actually put in more hours. Now, a lot of parents think that sounds really good, but before you make the jump, let's take a look at some hints from the State of Michigan Parent Guide. First of all, the most important thing is don't push a student who doesn't fit the profile that we just discussed to take online classes. When you do make the jump, provide a workspace for your child and let your student choose what classes to take. Make sure you create a relationship with the teacher. And the most important thing is your support. You can do that by helping your students maintain a regular study schedule and providing incentives. Who are we going to hire to take care of this for us? Well, you need to find teachers who are very highly organized and they have to have effective communication skills. Experience teaching is important, but not necessary. They do need to be flexible with their time, their way of teaching, and how they administer their class. So, teachers, does that sound like you? I know online teaching sounds like it might be heaven. I know that when I started teaching online, I found that I had more flexibility with my schedule and I was able to work at different times of day. I also got closer to my students than I do in the classroom. I had more time to work with them one-on-one. But my favorite thing was I didn't have to worry about classroom management. But it's not always what you think. This is Holly Mortimer. She's an online teacher for 3 high schools in Idaho. And what she'll tell you about teaching online is that you're moving from what you're going to teach and how you're going to teach it to studying what the kids are learning and how they are engaged. And studies and interviews with online teachers say that their biggest complaint is that they feel disconnected. They feel disconnected from other teachers, from their students. They miss chatting freely with their students, and they're frustrated they can't always get in touch with their students. So you need to let go of the traditional ideas of what it means to be a teacher. A lot of teachers seem to miss the thrill of teaching in front of a class, and then they're frustrated that they can't get the students' nonverbal skills. So sometimes it's like typing to a wall. But overall, when it comes to online education, the pros outweigh the cons, especially as more and more research in the K-12 online learning becomes available. By creating the virtually online high school, we'll find that it's an effective solution for many of our students. It's going to help us retain those students that we see leaving for other online programs. It's going to make us a stronger district, and it's going to put us in line with what the rest of the country is doing. Thank you for your time.